Hello, hello. My name is Dawn Devine, and welcome to Studio Divina. This is an update on the work I've been doing, my courses on Patreon, and the progress I've made on my book. Thank you for joining me today as I move through 2026 and I work on the re release of Costume from the Hip for its 30-year anniversary. We are, focused more and more and more on just one project. So you're going to be seeing in the next couple of months sort of I can only talk about one thing. I'm becoming the most boring person on the planet. Anyways, so let's start off with what am I doing? So last fall, I was going through some boxes and bins, and I discovered a bin that had been in a dark closet, shut up. There had been a cat tree in front of it that had never gotten moved, and I was like, "Hey, well, I wonder what's in there." And what was in there was a stack of five tote bins. Like this is one of them actually, five bins this size, packed full of materials, supplies, and weirdly unfinished costumes, UFOs, unfinished objects. And one of them was a quite snazzy bra and belt set that I made back in 2004. So I was splitting my time between two houses and moving things, and stuff got moved, and I wound up totally relocating to the Bay Area. I was making this costume for a really lovely dancer who lived in Reno, and we just lost touch. The whole gist of this costume was to make a demo that would go in my next book, Embellished Bras. Well, as you know, Embellished Bras happened, and there were no people in it. We took images on a dress form. So in our pivot away from having full blown costumes on models, we we just basically lost touch. Now, she is lovely, and if you're watching, Monique, I'm sorry we did that pivot. I'm so very sorry. Anyways, let's see what this costume looks like. So here is the belt, and now remember this is 2004, but these materials are actually from the 90s. It has Chinese manufactured, machine manufactured fringe, of which I have 4 rows on here. There are 2 rows. There are 2 rows here, and you can see the top silk band that the fringe is attached to. I have put the fringe on with the band on the bottom, so the fringe waterfalls and bends down. You can see there's 2 rows of that, and because the fringe was sparse, it's 2 rows. So there are, what you're looking at here, this is 2 rows of the fringe, and I tried to align them so the fringe was in between. Yeah, there you go. And it's got a bit of a kind of Wonder Woman central motif built into the belt. But notice I used sequin fabric just to give it that sort of all over pattern. One piece of fabric that does all the heavy lifting, 4 rows of machine made fringe. The the bra has a similar design. It also has 2 rows of fringe, but I have added across the top some herringbone style beading to give it an anchor point, so it has a little more polish and finish. And I also added these beads, right? So they're like tiny little beads there. So from a distance, you can barely see that trim exists, but up close and personal, it really does make a difference. And you can see it here. This is the bra. Now, this is a straight, unshaped band with just 1 row of the fringe. I found a model who will fit into it, so I'm finishing it up. There is also a skirt, and the skirt is made from the same fabric, and it is just a simple 2-panel straight skirt, and I have to put a waistband on it and then add the hook and eye closures to this, elastic and closures. So I'm down to maybe an hour's worth of work to finish the skirt off. And that's my current sewing project. So that's what's in the basket. In other turn of events, we're looking at a new title using Costuming from the Hip as the subtitle. So we haven't quite come up with the proper name yet, but we're working on it, and it's going to use the words belly dance and costuming or costume somehow. But the word belly dance is going to be in it. Now, when I wrote the book back in 1993/1997, Costuming for the Hip was a cute name. And what do you do when you want to find a book on a subject? You type in belly dance costume. That is reflects our new modern age. And so we're going to rejigger the title so that it says belly dance somehow at the top and Costuming from the Hip as a subtitle. We want it to be more searchable. What it's going to be, I don't know. It might just wind up being belly dance costuming or anyways, cheers to finding a new name in 2026. Now the other thing we're doing in 2026 is we've expanded our newsletter. Now the newsletter, it took a little bit of a pivot back in October. So what's happening in that publication? Well, we're going to try and have designated sections. It's going to be we're going to add anchors so that you can bounce around the newsletter. You don't have to scroll as far. We've added departments, traditional magazine model of having articles and having, featured articles and then followed by departments. And I, of course, am taking a curate the world approach. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share the knowledge that I'm getting in a more timely manner, but also to share some vintage stuff to help my fellow researchers, to help my fellow costumers, and to provide, yummy stuff to see across the web without having to search. We are so pummeled by information. So I'm taking that kind of anytime anyone asks me a question that I think the answer should be shared, I'm putting it in the newsletter. So for folks who are new and may not know that I have a newsletter, please visit my site. Right, so it's davina.us. That's where my site is. And speaking of my website, this is the other goal that we're working on as a team. We're going to be updating and remodeling the website. It gets an overhaul about every 10 years. And so it is time, especially with a new book coming out in the fall, to get the website up to date. So my website's been around for almost 30 years now. So I feel very blessed to have an early website in the world of belly dance, but also continuously running website. It's been around for a long, long time, and it was started just before we re-released Costume from the Hip 1997. Let me talk about Patreon. So this month's Patreon, of course, this video will be included on Patreon. If you're watching on Patreon, thank you for your support. I really appreciate you, and your contribution really helps make these videos possible. For Patreon this month, we also have lining a belly dance bra. We're going to talk all about bra linings in the $7 sewing demo level over on Patreon. And finally, at that $15 level, which includes all the content, all 4 videos for $15, that's a deal. So I know a lot of people think quarterly. I think in thirds. And at the start of each third, I do a research roundup, information about questions people have been asking and how I've, what the answers are. I'm going to share the original research that I'm doing, maybe things you've never seen, maybe things you've seen but a different take. This month we're talking about a suit. I'm going to talk about Turkish lithography and printing. Next month I'm doing a Q&A. The Q&A is for last year's class series, the course Dancing Down the Midway 1893. Now that it's been up for a year, I'm taking all of the questions, the comments, and I'm building a Q&A presentation. Now, if you were involved in that course, if you took the course or you saw one of the videos or all of them, there were 4 in the series, please send me your Q&As. I will be starting the construction on February 14th on Valentine's Day. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go and subscribe to my Patreon right now at the $15 level, and they're all there for you to watch. If you are interested in who was dancing at the Chicago World's Fair, the World's Fair that gave us the popularization of the term belly dance and the prehistory of the character of Little Egypt. So, once again, thank you so much for all your help, your assistance, your support, and your generosity. Thank you. Shout out to my Patreon peeps who are helping keeping this ongoing newsletter going, and a special shout out to anybody who owns any of my books. Every single one of you have helped me along the year build this knowledge base and this career. You helped me spend more time making costumes and doing research, and I just really appreciate all of you. Anyways, I hope you have a very good January, and I will be back here in February to talk to you again. Take care and be well. Bye.